I don't know why I agreed to this. I could do with an evening in and a bottle of Beaujolais and some old episodes of Death in Paradise.
I know what you mean, but once we get going, we always enjoy it, don't we? And it's a good thing to do for the village. It brings people together.
Yes, not too sure about this other lot we're doing it for, though.
Odds. I think they're all right. Hannah seems to get on with them okay.
Hmm. Are they the ones who come round on the lorry at Christmas?
No, that's the moose, I think.
No, it's definitely not the moose. I've never heard of them, apart from the type of deer.
Oh, well, hopefully they'll enjoy themselves. Heard they love their booze. So not only do we get to have some fun, they can enjoy their slurping. Talking of which, how is the pub doing this year?
Oh, ticking along. I've talked to the brewery and they may well put some money in to improve the garden area. Yeah, being next to the fields, it has great views and it may even get some patio heaters so people can sit outside when it gets too chilly.
That sounds really good. What have you got there?
Oh, just the cloth for the table and a few accessories. At least there aren't loads of costumes for a murder mystery. I need to mend a dress. The hem has come undone. It's not surprising, really, as it's been hanging around a bit, but I thought it would do for Sue's character. How's the family?
Oh, they're fine. Andy works too hard. And with Claire working as well, it's a real juggling act for them. I wish we could do more, but, well, we are where we are.
It must be hard when they're not on your doorstep. Oh well, something I've not had to worry about. Just as well, really. I'm not sure I would have been the motherly type.
I still don't know why you never remarried. It wasn't as if you had no offers. They were queuing up, as I remember.
Bit of an exaggeration. Anyway, you know what they say, once bitten. Oh, hi Mel.
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
I shouldn't worry, the others aren't here yet. We're not the best at timekeeping. I try to put my watch 5 minutes fast just to help.
Does it work?
Not really. I just look at it and think, oh no, is that the time? And then I remember my watch is 5 minutes fast and I have another cup of tea.
Is Hannah not here yet?
No, which is unlike her.
She always seems to be rushing here, there, and everywhere. Don't know how she fits everything in. What with the council and all her drama work.
She just likes to have a finger in every pie.
Yes, but saying that, she does do a lot for the village.
If you say so. So, who else are we waiting for?
Rob and Sue were just parking as I arrived. Is that another new car he's bought?
Probably. He needs to spend his ill-gotten gains somehow. How he gets away with it, I just don't know.
I'm sure it's all above board.
What does he do exactly?
Oh, he's a property developer.
He's a wide boy. He buys up pockets of land that no one else wants and persuades the council he'll use it for affordable housing. And then he changes it to luxury homes on which he'll make a small fortune.
Isn't there some sort of neighbourhood plan that developers have to stick to?
The trouble is, it only seems to apply to big developments, which is where Rob becomes rather crafty. Below a certain level, it all becomes conveniently advisory, and changes to outline planning are notoriously easy to get through. Ah, the man himself. We were just talking about you.
All good stuff?
In your dreams, Rob, in your dreams.
Well, you certainly don't feature in mine. You see, Mel, Belle and I have an ongoing love-hate relationship.
Yes, I love to tell people how much I hate him.
Now, you two, you're making it out to be much worse than it is.
How's the corn wagon these days, Belle?
It's going very well. And she has all sorts of plans to make it even better, haven't you, Belle?
Ah, selling decent food would be a start.
We sell basic pub grub, which is what the people in the village want. Not all this fancy twice cooked rubbish that you get in all the posh restaurants that you frequent.
She's looking to improve the outside area to take advantage of the views.
So, what were you thinking?
We can extend the patio area and the play area. It's lovely out there in the summer and you can see for miles.
Yeah.
And she's going to get some of those patio heaters as well.
That's the plan anyway.
Really? Well, I wouldn't plan too far ahead if I were you.
Why not? What do you know that I don't?
You may want to take a look at the most recent planning applications at some point. Not that you'll have much say in it all. Views aren't usually taken into consideration.
What are you?
Anyway, we have a murder mystery to perform in just a few weeks. Everyone learn their lines?
I'm almost there.
Well, it's all right for you. You've got time on your side. And I guess you've had plenty of practice learning all those lyrics.
Is that what you'd call them? Load of drivel, I would say. And in any case, I expect you were miming most of the time.
Excuse my husband. I have to most of the time.
Don't worry. You get to be very thick-skinned in my business.
Well, I'm afraid to say I still need my script. Life has been so busy these last few weeks. Ben seems to be out most evenings with parish work, and then there are all those diocese meetings.
Well, it's hard when you're working day and night. When I was with the band...
Here we go again. When I was with the band, but that wasn't real work, was it?
You have no idea, do you, what it's like to be on tour for weeks on end, living out of suitcases, never in the same place 2 nights running. People think it's glamorous, but it's non-stop and you never really relax.
Yes, but just prancing around on stage. I mean, any fool could do that, couldn't they?
It doesn't just happen, you know.
Ignore him, Mel. He likes nothing better than to wind people up. Some would even say he's made it an art form.
He's certainly had a lot of practice.
He's pretty harmless, really. So where is Hannah? She's the one who wanted us here for 7:30 prompt. I left the office early for this.
Funny how we all bow to her every command.
I must admit, I've never known anyone so bossy, and in my business, I have certainly met some bossy people.
That's why she ended up as chairman of this local society she belongs to.
What, Bayos?
Not Bayos. I think you get hung, drawn and quartered if she heard you call it that. It's odds.
Thought they were a rugby team.
Well, from what Hannah says, their meetings do turn into a bit of a scrum sometimes. Oh, here she is.
Sorry I'm a bit late. Long call from the borough chairman. And then I realised I was low on petrol and I've early start tomorrow.
We'll let you off then.
So let's get going. We can stop for coffee later if we have time.
There's always time. What does the good book say, Gloria? Let not time your master be.
Let not sin your master be. It's a bit different.
Yes, well, that as well.
Enough of the small talk. We have so much to get through.
Stop fussing, Hannah. It's only a village murder mystery we're doing, not a flipping Royal Shakespeare production.
But it has to be good. Beside which, my reputation is at stake.
And we all know what your reputation is.
Now, don't worry. It's fine. We nearly know our lines.
Nearly know your lines. Well, that's not good enough. I told you all that we had to have our scripts down tonight, and here you are, clutching them like you've got comfort blankets.
You can't expect everyone to be word perfect at this stage.
Some of us still have to work for a living, you know.
At this stage, the first performance is in 3 weeks. We have another 3 more rehearsals. How do you expect to be able to act when you're still holding your scripts?
Well, some of us are managing all right so far.
I do agree with Hannah. Perhaps we ought to be taking this a bit more seriously. After all, we don't want to end up looking very silly on stage.
But surely you'd be used to that.
Very funny. Now leave her alone. Mel didn't have to agree to do this. In fact, I'm really surprised you did, Mel. I mean, we're not exactly up to O2 standard, are we?
closer to the M3.
And the pay isn't that good either. We are getting paid, aren't we? Just joking.
She owed me a favour, didn't you, Mel?
I'm doing it because I want to. I'm new to the village and I want to get involved. I can't be here all the time, so it's a case of doing my bit for the community as and when I can. Also, get to know people a bit more. My next project doesn't start for a few more weeks, so
What's that then? Another voiceover?
Rob, you are insufferable sometimes. I don't know why I put up with you.
Well, you don't have much choice, do you?
Right, okay. Let's look at page 7 onwards. Gloria, when will Ben be here? Not that we need a prompt at the moment, as most of you are still holding your scripts. I tell you, this whole thing is beginning to look like a pantomime instead of a murder mystery.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, no.
Ben should be here any minute. He was talking to the bishop when I left. And you know what bishops are like.
Not really, no.
I suppose you don't have much contact with men of the cloth.
You'll be surprised.
He won't be long, I'm sure. And he's found a period lamp for that first scene, just as you wanted. He'll bring his tool bag as well, so he can tighten up the screws on the screen. After all, we don't want the murderer exposed at the wrong moment, do we?
Now that would cause a scandal. And in the church hall too.
Belle.
Sorry.
So, while I'm rehearsing with Rob and Sue, why don't the rest of you go for a costume check with Belle?
I need to ask Belle about my dress as well.
All right. Well, be quick.
So, how's it going?
Well, as you can see, it's all a shambles.
What the play? I couldn't really care less about that.
Oh, you mean...
Stop beating about the bush, Hannah. How did the planning meeting go?
Well, so far, so good. But this one's not going to be as easy, you know. There's going to be so much more opposition.
Of course there will, which is why your help will be invaluable. You really will have earned your money this time.
What money? I don't know what you're talking about.
Good girl.
Well, you are so patronising.
Let's face it, you've enjoyed my patronage. Once this development on the fields is past, it'll be $1 to get even more through. It was worth every penny to get you on my side.
But it's not just me who you'll need to be on your side.
I'll do what it takes. There's no doubt will you.
You'll make a lot of money out of this, won't you?
That's what developers do.
So you're not in it for the good of the community then?
Ah, good of the community? Hardly. And let's face it, Anna, for all that public philanthropy, the tin shaking and the dressing up in silly costumes, you're as much out for what you can get as the rest of us. You hardly became a councillor to do your public duty, did you? So who else are you taking backhanders from?
I do not take backhanders. However, my expertise in planning can be beneficial should I choose to share it. I've looked again at the outline plans, and it seems you will make a killing on this one. I therefore think I will need to increase my percentage if you are to count on my continued support.
Increase your percentage?
Like I said, this one is going to take more of my time and effort. More people are going to have to be persuaded to come on board. My costs are inevitably going to be higher.
You can't do that.
And if you don't like the new terms, I may have to report you for contempt of bribery.
Attempted? That's a laugh. You're already in it up to your neck.
Don't be silly, Rob. Do you think I'd leave myself open to suspicion? All my tracks are covered. Rex, my accountant, is a whiz when it comes to hiding what we don't want anybody else to see, whereas you may find yourself in very hot water, and I will expect our new financial arrangements to continue well into the future, as no doubt you will. Prison is quite uncomfortable, you know.
You know, for 1 minute, I thought you were actually trying to blackmail me.
Mail? That's a nasty word. Let me say, if you don't agree to my new terms, you will be the one in court facing a long jail sentence. And Sue will not like that, will she? Especially when she finds out you have been using her money to fund our arrangement. Oh, Sue, there you are. So, page 7.
You were a long time. What did the bishop want?
You'll never guess. He's offering to put me forward for another position. And guess where?
Basingstoke. Not worth it.
It's a parish church just outside of Maidstone,
You're joking.
which means we'd be closer to the family.
That's weird. Belle and I, we were just talking about it earlier as being closer to Andy and the girls.
You see, Mel, Ben and Gloria's son and their 3 children live just outside of Maidstone.
Oh, right.
It's a small parish with a very committed group running lots of schemes in the community. I'd be full-time to start with, but in a few years they'd look to replace me with a new rector with a view to me working as a part-time community worker.
So when would you start?
He hasn't actually given much detail. It was more of a sounding out call, really. He knows we would want to move at some time, and this could be ideal for us and hopefully for the church there too.
And what have you said?
I told him I'd talk to you. I thought we'd be very interested and I'll get back to him.
Kent is a very pretty part of the country.
Do you know it?
Not really. I was in the area for a while when I was younger, but
Did Hannah live near Maidstone at one time?
Yes, but don't let that put you off.
When have you got to decide?
We need to get back to the bishop within the next few weeks.
oh, that sounds really exciting. Not where I'd want to be anymore, but good for you.
But what about you, Belle?
Andy and Claire come first. I always said that if I moved closer to you, it would be on the basis that you would feel free to move away, should the time come. And I'll adopt Mel here as my little sister. How's that?
Fine by me. I've never had a sister before.
There you are then. Sorted. Right, we'd better get looking at these costumes before the big boss gets onto us. I think I have a dress that might do for Sue. It might need taking up a bit, and the seam needs mending.
Do you think Hannah has typecast us at all?
I sincerely hope not. What on earth made you think that?
Oh, no idea. Just a random thought.
Typecast? You do make me laugh sometimes. You aren't exactly the bitter, twisted character you're playing, are you?
I can't think of anyone less bitter. If anything, you're just the opposite. A bit too kind and accommodating. Isn't that right, Ben?
Oh, he's sure to be biased. Ben, have you brought your screwdriver?
Are you suggesting someone's got a screw loose?
It's for the screen, silly. We can't have it falling over as Rob makes his dramatic entrance, can we?
On the other hand,
How could you even think of...
I could think of nothing better. Rob needs taking down a peg or two.
I'll go and see to it now. Or do I need to stay here and prompt anyone?
Not while we're still using these. So, Mel, what's it like being famous?
And rich.
Belle,
What?
you are so rude.
No, I'm not. I just say what others think.
Which is really refreshing. If I said tedious, would you believe me?
No.
Well, it can be. It's all to do with image. And that's the problem. My agent is a lovely girl, but obsessed with maintaining the Mel brand, which is why I love being here, where I can forget all that nonsense. I know it sounds unlikely, but I don't think it would bother me if it all came to an end. I mean, which it will one day anyway.
What would you do then?
I'd have to get some sort of qualification or training. I didn't do very well at school, not interested really, and my friends were the same. But I'd like to help kids like me, you know, the ones that happen to be in the right place at the right time. It doesn't happen for most people.
So, is your name really Mel?
Of course not. Okay, but tell no one. Sandra.
Oh dear.
Sandra Jones.
Ah,
You see, my agent had a point.
what were the other members of the band like?
Oh, they were great. Contrary to what the press would have you believe, we really were quite a decent bunch. To be honest, we were grateful for what we had. Like I said, most people don't get the chance.
So all that wild living was just paper talk?
Exactly. Sadly, no one wants to think of their favourite band tucked up in bed with a cocoa by 11 o'clock.
What's all this about cocaine?
Cocoa, not cocaine.
Oh, I must have misheard. So is Ben here now?
Yep, he's sorting out the screen if you want to check.
And he's had some good news. He and Gloria are moving off to Kent.
Not soon, I hope. I would miss him. And you too, Gloria. He's been a great comfort to me at times.
I gather you lived near Maidstone for a time, Hannah.
Oh, yes, that's right. We were between East Sutton and Maidstone. Do you know it at all, Mel?
A bit. Now, what scene would you like us to do next, Hannah?
Why don't the three of you do a line run from page 15 onwards? Yes. Belle, you could read in for them. That will help. Who knows? They might even learn the lines that way. Oh, that would be novel. I'll go and see what Ben is up to.
And I need a glass of water. Does anyone else want one?
I'm fine, thanks.
Gin and tonic?
These lines will never get learnt.
Right, I've tightened the screws on the screen. It should be quite stable now. It will need touching up, but that won't take long. I think then we should have all the props and bits and pieces we need, but there's still time to make any changes. So I have the script and I'm all set to prompt. Where do you want me?
That's great, Ben. Whatever would I do without you?
Well, it's not been particularly onerous, not like when we do the pantos, and to be honest, it provides a bit of light relief.
You take your job very seriously, don't you?
Of course I do.
And now you're thinking of leaving.
What do you...
I gather you're moving away.
Oh, yes, Gloria must have told you. It's not definite, not yet. The bishop has offered to put me forward for a position near Maidstone, and it's what Gloria's always wanted, to be closer to the family. So...
But you don't want to leave, do you, Ben? After all, you and I have only just getting acquainted.
Of course I want to go. It would be lovely to be closer to our family, and it's a different opportunity. Not that I won't miss people here, of course.
And you would really miss me, surely.
Well, yes, of course, but...
And you and I have become quite close recently, haven't we?
I don't...
You can't have forgotten, surely.
No, I haven't forgotten. How could I? But like I said, it was a mistake. A stupid, heat of the moment mistake. It should never have happened, and I am truly sorry. I can't think what possessed me.
But it did, and we can't rewrite the past, can we?
No, we can't undo what's done. I only wish we could, but we can move on, and that's what we both have to do.
But what if I don't want you to move on? What then? Then what?
Have to, I'm sorry. There was nothing to it, and we both have to forget what happened. Perhaps me moving away is what we both need.
But what if I don't want you to move away?
I don't think it will be up to you.
But what if the bishop finds out about your little indiscretion? It may be my duty, don't you think, to put him in the picture? Do you think that he would still recommend you? Such a shame, but I'm sure you will find a reason to give to Gloria as to why you won't be moving. And you and I can get to know each other even better. I shall look forward to it.
How could you?
Oh, I didn't see you.
Oh no, but I heard you. How could you do that to Gloria?
It was a stupid mistake. I don't know how I let it happen, but you know what Hannah's like.
Oh yes, that's right. Blame Hannah. As if it had nothing to do with you. Of course, you are completely innocent.
No, I am not innocent. I'm just a silly fool who was flattered by an attractive woman. So, what are you going to do?
Me? I'm not going to do anything. It's up to you to sort this one out. You know my sister means the world to me, so you had better put it right.
But how can I? If I say we are leaving, Hannah will tell Gloria about us. And if I say we're staying, Gloria will be heartbroken. And I'll still have that woman on my back.
Well, you better do what's best then, hadn't you? And get praying for some divine wisdom. Because there's no way I'm going to see my sister's marriage wrecked because of your pure self-indulgence.
I would have thought you would have at least got this scene right. Can't you do anything properly?
Unlike you, I'm still working all hours.
And what do you think I get up to all day?
I have no idea. What do you get up to all day? Apart from moving money, most of it my money around. Oh, talking of which, I think it's time to invest more in the partnership. The firm's doing pretty well, and we're thinking of opening another branch in Andover. I guess we'll have to draw on the Barclays account for that one. The interest has gone down, so it would be better just to put it all in the business anyway.
Yes, we may want to think about that.
Well, I already have. It's just a case of drawing up the documents and transferring the money.
Yes, except, well...
What's the problem?
There's no problem. It's just that another opportunity came up and I've already committed some of the Barclays money.
What, without consulting?
It was a now or never proposition, and a very profitable one at that.
So what exactly is this investment opportunity?
Well, the new development needed a stronger financial footing, yes.
It hasn't even gone through planning.
Exactly.
So I don't understand, what was the money for?
For a highly intelligent woman, you can sometimes be very slow on the uptake. We need that planning permission, and some people can make that happen given the right incentives.
You don't mean you use the money to bribe someone?
Not bribe, no, just encourage.
That is despicable.
Is it? More despicable than ambulance chasing, because that's what you really do, isn't it? And aren't you the one who enjoys the good life anyway? The nice clothes, fancy perfume, exotic holidays?
I wouldn't break the law.
But you happily bend it to win your case, don't you? Anyway, we are where we are, and there's no going back. In fact, Hannah's threatening to expose us.
Us? Hannah, what do you mean?
It's Hannah who's on our side, and will stay that way while we continue to thank her for her support and influence.
Thank her. You make it sound positively polite.
What else do you want me to call it?
Well, how about calling a spade and saying bribe her?
You can call it whatever you want. The fact is, we need her and any of her powerful cronies to get what we want, which is why we need to continue to show our appreciation.
And if we, well, no, you don't,
She'll make things look very bad for us.
For you mean?
Do you really think you would come out of this unblemished? As you keep reminding me, it was your money in that account, and your reputation will be blown apart because either you were in on it or you were stupid enough to give me free rein. In either way, you lose the money. In the meantime, Hannah is probably more crafty than both of us put together and has us over the proverbial barrel.
I cannot believe you got us into this. I can't believe that she can tell us what to do and make a fortune out of your greed.
Like I said, you're every bit as greedy as me. I might even say I did all of this for you.
And I might even say cut the codswallop, or worse if we were not in a church hall.
But even if she gets her way, we still make a killing on this development. And once the precedent has been set, there will be no stopping more development on the fields.
Which she will want an even bigger share. It won't end, will it? She'll take whatever she wants. She's not going to get away with it.
I don't think we have a choice.
She may be clever. She is not invincible. I can't believe there's nothing we can do to stop all this.
So what is it like being the vicar's wife?
Well, it's hardly a 9-to-5 job.
Well, no, I guess not. But it must be hard having to be nice to everyone.
Oh, I'm not sure I manage that. You'd better ask our parishioners.
But you were always so calm and seemed to understand everyone's point of view. And I've noticed that you always stick up for people.
I think you realise in this job that there are nearly two sides to an argument, and some people don't find it easy to put their case. You also learn that there are a few things worth getting really upset about. The things we get out of our prams for have often blown over in a very short time.
So is there anything you'd get upset about?
Oh yes, big things like poverty or injustice, probably the things I can't do much about. But when it comes to more personal hurts or wrongdoing, then the older I get, the more I realise none of us is any better than the rest. We all make a mess of things, we just do it in different ways. That's why the church is so hot on forgiveness, or at least it should be. Certainly for Ben and me, that's what really matters.
So what did you do before you married Ben?
Oh, I was a teacher.
Oh, where was that?
Well, not far from here, just down the road in Winchester.
No problem kids there then.
Oh, you'd be surprised. The school was in a more deprived area, and lots of the kids lost their way, got into drugs, petty crime. It was really hard to see them give up before they'd even started.
It's easily done. I didn't realise Winchester even had any poor areas.
I think most cities have, haven't they?
Well, that's true. And quite often it seems the poorest areas are slap bang next to the richest ones, which makes it even harder to be struggling when half a mile away you've got those who've got it all. What about you? Where did you grow up?
Well, I'm a northern girl originally, and you?
Oh, South London.
Oh, I thought you were a Kent girl.
Oh, only for a bit.
So what did you do before you became part of the Clouds?
Oh, this and that. I did a bit of shop work and then I got a job behind a bar.
Behind bars, did you say?
Hannah, behind a bar. Mel was just telling me about life before she hit the big time.
Oh, I bet that was some story. You'll have to tell me, Mel. I'd love to hear it.
You did say we might stretch to a coffee sometime, Hannah.
Oh, yes. Good idea. Are you happy to make one? Make some.
I'm on my way.
Well done for learning your lines, Mel.
Well, nearly. Not quite word perfect yet.
I'd hoped you'd appreciated the irony in the casting. Hardly to type, was it?
Maybe not. But then I don't think you cast anyone to type, did you?
I couldn't resist casting you as a squeaky clean goody-goody.
Look, Hannah, you've kept quiet so far, so why bring it up now?
I haven't breathed word to anyone.
No, but suddenly there are all these inferences and snide comments about cocaine and behind bars.
And it's all this talk of Maidstone. It brings it all back.
But it was a long time ago.
East Sutton Park. Oh, I remember it well.
So do I, believe me. What do you want?
I don't want anything.
Then why are you raking over the past? What is the point?
I'm merely helping you to be thankful that you were given a second chance.
I already am grateful to the people who helped me back then. I was 17, for heaven's sake, young and impressionable, which is why I ended up in a young offenders institute. But I grew up and I made something of myself.
I seem to remember that I had something to do with that.
Yes, you did. I'm not denying that. I didn't even know I could sing until you came in and started the choir. Why would I? What chance did I ever have to sing before then? In the school I went to, music was the dossing lesson. No one took it seriously. But the good thing about East Sutton was it made me realise what I could do. And like I said, I'm grateful to you and the others who helped me make a new start. But it was a long time ago.
Does your agent know about your past?
The people who need to know. Let's leave it at that, shall we?
Of course. It would not help if the Mel brand, if it was discovered that you aren't as squeaky clean as you're made out to be.
The Mel brand means nothing to me, and I don't make myself out to be squeaky clean, as you say. I've worked hard to get where I am. After I left East Sutton, I got a job. Okay, it wasn't a brilliant one, but at least I was working. And then I got to sing in the local bar, and that might have been it. But I was one of the lucky ones. The right place at the right time. Life's all about timing, isn't it? I suppose you didn't ever have to worry about that, did you? Nice home, nice school, university. You don't know what it means to make good from a lousy start. No, the Mel brand is neither here nor there. But what does mean something is I've changed and I can hold my head up. I fought for that. I don't want to have to fight for it again. But if I have to, I will.
So you say.
What happened to you, Hannah? When I first met you, I thought you were genuinely nice and that you really cared. Now look at you. Or has it always been a front? All this philanthropy and good deeds? Is it really all about you and how good it makes you feel? Is that it?
Who says I'm not philanthropic? I'm surprised you know what the word means, by the way. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
That's it, isn't it? It's all about the power, feeling that you hold other people's happiness in your hands.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But I do have a murder mystery to produce, and that's why we join the others for a coffee, and we really must get going. Rob, Sue, come on, are you coming for coffee?
So, I've been looking online.
I wondered when you would catch up with my latest proposal.
It's obscene. You'll never get away with it, Rob. The village has been fighting the development on the fields for years.
But the village has to have new housing, and relatively speaking, it's a small development which will be sympathetic to the local environment.
You call a cul-de-sac of modern monstrosities sympathetic to the environment?
Oh, come on, Belle. We both know that this is really about, don't we? Your precious pub.
That's not true.
Oh, come off it.
All right. So yes, it is about the pub as well. Just when we had come up with something to really make a difference.
I'll tell you what would really make a difference. If you started to sell decent beer, you might attract a different clientele. People who appreciate a good pint, rather than those who support you because they feel sorry for you.
Feel sorry for me? You're the one people should feel sorry for. I suppose at one point you did have a soul, or has it always been sold at making money at any price?
Yeah, since when is making money been a crime?
Since putting it before everything else, that's when. The corn wagon has been the heart of the village for donkey's years. And now you want to engulf it in rows of little boxes.
Made from ticky-tacky, I suppose. Forgive me if I don't burst into song at this point.
You really don't care what happens to this village, do you? You would quite happily bleed the life out of it.
Now, that I wouldn't do. Not without keeling over, anyway. Cutting myself shaving's bad enough. I'll sue.
Everything's a joke to you, isn't it? Like I said, you just don't care.
Of course I care. I care that people who want to move here can't because there's a shortage of housing. And that shortage pushes up prices. By building more houses, supply will go up, which means prices will come down. You see, I'm doing everyone a favour.
Oh, I see. You're not doing it for the money at all.
You know me, Belle. Always put others first. Anyway, I don't have to justify myself to you or anyone else for that matter. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think it's time for coffee. Will you join me?
I think I'll pass. I prefer to drink with a better class of person. Well, have you said anything?
Oh, come on, Belle. Now is hardly the time or place.
You just need to tell Hannah that what she's doing is disgusting. Surely you, of all people, should be able to send her on a guilt trip. Isn't that what the church is all about?
Oh, that is a very cynical view.
It hurts to be betrayed, you know. Where are the others?
I tell you, it's all happening out there. Hannah is buzzing around like a blue bottle in a jam jar. She's been rehearsing in separate rooms with Mel and Gloria because Mel knows her lines and Gloria doesn't. And Rob and Sue are probably arguing in the kitchen.
I don't know how she lives with him. I don't know how he lives with himself.
Perhaps she doesn't have any choice. It always amazes me what people will do to protect themselves.
Oh, seriously, where is the gin and tonic? I'd murder for one.
Well, that's not until page 22, if we ever get there. Honestly, Hannah is such a perfectionist. I doubt whether the murderer will ever get to commit his.
Or her, don't give it away.
Or their crime. What time should we finish?
Well, they look ready to call it a day now. What on earth is that?
Sounds like page 20.
I'm not sure who's shouting at who.
I think it's what they call a general melee.
Or an odds committee meeting.
They're really going for it, aren't they? What was all that about, Sue? Are you all right?
I tell you, that woman has gone mad. She's into method acting now. I mean, she wanted us to get angry, like really angry, not just pretending, so that it would be more realistic.
Shouldn't be too difficult. I guess all three of you have got something to shout about.
But there are limits. I mean, she's certainly got Rob going. I've just left him to it.
I didn't think we were supposed to be taking this too seriously.
No one else is, that's for sure.
What are you all staring at?
Nothing.
Is it me? Or have we just entered the world of farce? I mean, we're supposed to be rehearsing, and so far we've done about 3 pages, a line run, and some costume checks. And now she's throwing in Stanislavski as well.
Who?
Oh, forget it. It's just as well it's a low-key production. I thought it would be fun to do this, but I hadn't realised it would be quite such a riot. Talk about losing the plot if ever there was one.
That was always debatable.
Cheer up.
Poor Hannah. She's getting so uptight, and I think it's catching. Keep telling her that the worst that can happen is Jim never trusts her again when it comes to finding acts.
Jim?
Yes, odds impresario extraordinaire, apparently.
Where is Hannah anyway? I'm getting tired and hungry. I didn't eat before I came, and it's nearly 9 o'clock.
I thought she was following me, but then she said she had to make a call.
Well, she wasn't in the ladies. I've just come from there.
Well, even Hannah can't disappear into thin air. I'll go and get her.
Belle's not very happy, is she?
Still smarting over a precious pub, I expect.
Why? I thought she had grand ideas for it. She sounded really excited earlier.
That was before she found out about Rob's plans.
So why would they affect her?
The new development will be directly behind the pub.
Which will block the view.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rob.
I didn't know what she was planning, did I?
And if you did, would it have made any difference?
Probably not. I'm a businessman. Sometimes you have to be ruthless to get what you want. I'm not always proud of that, but it's the way the world operates now. It's each man for himself. Now, you may not like that, Ben, but for those of us who live in the real world, that's the way it is.
Call an ambulance, quick, someone.
What's the matter?
What's wrong?
It's Hannah. I think she's dead. There was blood. I didn't see her at first. She was on the floor.
Stay here.
It's all right, everyone. No need to panic. Stay calm. Oh, you are.
Sit down, Belle. I'll get you a drink of water.
Don't go in there. There was a knife.
What do you mean a knife? What are you talking about?
She was on the floor in the kitchen. I thought she fainted or something, but then I went over and I could realise that something awful had happened.
But she was fine when I left her.
I've called the ambulance and the police, but it's too late to do anything. She's already dead.
What?
What happened?
We don't know, do we? Let's wait for the police.
But why the police? Surely it was an accident.
The police would have to be called anyway, but it wasn't an accident. Even Hannah couldn't stab herself in the back.
She was murdered.
But how?
Someone must have slipped in while we weren't looking.
But we were right by the door. They couldn't have got by without somebody noticing.
Why would a random stranger want to walk in and kill Hannah?
Something else. Her watch was broken, presumably smashed when she fell. It had stopped at 8:45.
But weren't you all rehearsing then? And Ben and I were in here.
Perhaps she disturbed someone who was already in the building.
No one kills without a motive unless they are complete psychopaths. And as far as I know, there aren't too many of those in Overton. Whereas the truth is, there are a few people here who may well have wanted to see the back of Hannah.
With a knife in it.
You are sick sometimes.
That's a terrible thing to say.
But it is the truth, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed the events of this evening, which have culminated in the ruthless murder of Hannah Priest. It's time to figure out which of us is responsible for this heinous crime, if indeed it was any of us. Bear in mind that for murder to be committed, the perpetrator must have the opportunity, the ability, and the motive to carry out the deed. So, was it Ben, the man of the cloth, she'd led astray, or his long-suffering wife Gloria? Was it Rob, the hard-nosed businessman, now the subject of blackmail, or his wife Sue, who stood to lose all of her hard-earned money? What about Belle? Her plans for the pub ruined by Rob and Hannah's corrupt dealings? Or was it me, Mel, my past about to catch up with me? Consider carefully all of the evidence and choose your suspects. We will see you later once we've received all your answers, after which all will be revealed. Oh, surely the police should be here by now.
Oh, give them a chance. It is a Saturday night.
In Overton.
Yes, and this is a murder scene.
Some of the odds lot are looking a bit put out.
I'm not surprised. They ask us to put on a murder mystery evening and we end up topping their chairman.
Well, ex-chairman, I think.
Well, she is now.
Even Kate with her literary pearls won't be able to make this sound good in her magazine report.
Who's Kate?
No idea.
But it wasn't our fault, and I don't care what you say. I don't believe any of us killed Hannah. I know she was a bit demanding, but that's not enough to want to kill her.
May not have wanted to kill her. I think there are others here who would be glad that she's gone.
But that's not the same as being prepared to kill her.
Or able to kill her.
Like I said earlier, the killer needed the motive and opportunity and have been able to do the deed.
Which rules me out straight away, I think you'll agree.
Come on, Belle.
Seriously, why would I want to kill her?
The new development?
What's that got to do with Hannah? I might be accused of wanting to kill Rob on that one, but why would I want to kill Hannah?
Because she was taking backhanders, that's why.
Shut up, Sue.
Well, it's all going to come out, isn't it?
Rob, you mean you were bribing Hannah?
Oh, no. He was showing his appreciation.
You're even more of a crook than I thought. But I knew nothing about that. How could I? So not only do I have no motive, I have no opportunity. Hannah was killed at 8:45, and I was the only one who didn't leave the hall all evening until I found her body at 9. So I think that pretty well puts me in the clear, don't you think? So who else do we need to look at? How about you, Sue? What else were Hannah and Rob up to?
Nothing, as far as I know. Rob?
Oh, believe me, our relationship was purely professional, or at least it was until she tried to blackmail me.
Blackmail?
She threatened to bring our arrangement out into the open unless I increased her financial reward. But I wasn't the only one who would suffer. It was basically Sue's money that had been used, so she would have lost out too.
But I wouldn't kill for it.
Maybe not for the money, but I guess your reputation would have been ruined. Let's face it, no one likes a bent lawyer.
This had nothing to do with me being a solicitor. That was all my greedy husband's doing.
Oh, go on, point the finger at me.
I'm only saying what was true.
So much for loyalty and trust.
Calm down, everyone. We are all shocked and upset. It won't do any good to point the finger at each other.
Well, at least Mel is in the clear. You hadn't been here long enough for your paths really to cross, had you?
Oh.
But there was some reference to you and Maidstone and Hannah. Had you met her before, Mel?
If you must know, yes, we had met before.
Why didn't you say?
I met Hannah when I was in East Sutton. It's a young offenders institute.
So, our pop star that was also a jailbird.
Oh, that's not on Rob.
It's okay. I've always known it would all come out at some time. So when Hannah threatened to tell everyone...
She blackmailed you as well.
So, Mel had the opportunity when she was outside with Hannah and she had the motive. Look no further.
But we heard you arguing with Hannah after Mel came back in the hall.
Oh, that was that stupid method acting.
Whatever it was, Mel was already back in the hall.
And in any case, I didn't have a motive. She may have made things awkward for me, but like I said earlier, in this business, you take the rough with the smooth. And I wouldn't be the first to have to admit to a less than glorious past. And even if I didn't weather the bad publicity, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I've always said that the Mel brand was neither here nor there and it couldn't go on forever. I just put away the glamour and the grease paint a little bit earlier than my agent planned.
And if we're ruling out people on motive, then we can take Ben and Gloria out, can't we?
I certainly wouldn't resort to murder, no matter what she did to me.
So there was something she had on you.
Of course there wasn't. You don't get any more straightforward and honest than Ben.
Which is why I have to...
Oh, when are the police going to get here?
I reckon they've stopped off for a quick pint on the way.
Well, as long as it's in the corn wagon, I don't mind. It'll help to keep the locals in check. Mind you, I reckon the really rough element are in here tonight.
Hang on a minute. What were you going to say, Ben, about you and Hannah?
He wasn't going to say anything about him and Hannah. Were you, Ben? Just drop it, Rob.
Thanks, Belle, but I can't lie. I'm sorry, Gloria.
Ben, just be quiet.
Hannah and I had well, it wasn't even a fling. It was a moment of stupidity when I allowed my better judgment to slip. I'm really sorry, Gloria. It was nothing. It really wasn't. I made it clear to Hannah, but she threatened to tell you and the bishop, and that would have been the end of the move, probably the end of my job. But most of all, I don't know where it would have left us. But I didn't kill her. I was in here with Belle anyway when it happened, so it was impossible. But in any case, I couldn't murder someone for any reason to cover up something I was equally responsible for.
You didn't need to cover it up. I already knew, or at least I'd taken a pretty good guess.
But,
How long have we been married, Ben? I knew you'd done something you were unhappy about. I just didn't know what. But let's face it, in the end, it always comes down to money, reputation, or women, doesn't it? I knew you were never interested in money, so it had to be the other two. But I also knew, whatever it was, you were mortified about it. I've been in this job long enough to know guilt when I see it.
So you did have a motive after all then, Gloria. What if Hannah told you what had happened between her and Ben and threatened to tell the bishop?
Even if Hannah had told me and had threatened to tell the bishop, I wouldn't have killed her.
Gloria may have had the opportunity and the motive, but she couldn't kill anyone.
And why not? What makes her so different from the rest of us?
Because it's all about forgiveness, Gloria, isn't it? I mean, that's what you said to me. We're all as bad as each other. And that goes for Ben as well. There's no way Gloria would have killed Hannah.
Which brings us back to Sue and Rob then. I don't see you two as the forgiving type. And despite your earlier protestations, the fact that you were the last people to see Hannah alive, and we did hear you arguing.
We were not arguing, we were rehearsing. Believe me, Hannah was well and truly alive when I left her.
And that's where it all went wrong, didn't it, Rob? I think we've all been keen to look for the unexpected answer to this murder, when in fact, the culprit is the obvious one. There was no phone call that delayed her. She was already dead when Rob left her. Like Gloria said, when a man falls, it's either for money, reputation, or sex.
Rob?
There was nothing like that between me and Hannah. Yes, she could have ruined me completely, but I didn't kill her.
That's for the police to decide.
Tell them, Sue.
Tell them what? Hannah was alive when I left you.
Think, woman. She was stabbed. There was blood everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Of course it wasn't you. Rob is pathetic. He can't stand the sight of blood. I mean, seriously, he almost passes out if he sees it. He can't even cut himself shaving. So if Rob had stabbed Hannah, he would have killed over. He'd be in there lying next to her.
So we really are back to what we dismissed. Hannah must have disturbed someone. It was probably an accident, perhaps a burglary gone wrong, but the guilty party is almost certainly not in this room.
Unless... Oh no.
Are you all right? You look as white as a sheet. Gloria, what's the matter?
Tell them, Belle.
Tell them what? Belle, do you know who did it? Is it someone here?
It's not who, it's when, isn't it, Belle?
What do you mean? Hannah was killed at 8:45. Her watch had stopped.
I made a note of that. I'm sure the police would have picked it up, but it was useful to know where we all were when she died so that we could all be ruled out as suspects, which we have been. We're just going round in circles again.
So why is this all about when, Gloria? Where does time come into all of this? Unless we were talking about time earlier. Let not time your master be.
Now, what are you on about? Some Shakespeare quote or something?
No, a Bell quote.
I'm lost.
Me too.
You make time work for you, don't you, Belle? You put your watch forward to stop being late. So if you can put a watch forward, why not put a watch back if it suits you? Only it wasn't your watch on this occasion, it was Hannah's. Hannah didn't die at 8:45. She died 10 minutes or so later when you went to find her.
But Belle had no reason to kill Hannah. She didn't even know she was taking bribes.
But it did give her an opportunity to frame me. That's what this was all about, wasn't it? Getting rid of me so your precious pub would survive. It's unbelievable.
It would be if that was her only motive for murder, but that isn't the real reason you killed Hannah, is it?
I couldn't let her ruin Gloria's life. No one really knows what it's like to be cheated on.
Once bitten, twice shy. I heard you say that. I'm sorry, Belle. I hadn't realised someone had let you down so badly. And then you found out about Ben and Hannah.
How did you find out?
She heard us talking.
Everything was falling into place for you. The move to Kent was what you'd always wanted. I wasn't going to let that selfish, scheming woman get in the way. I don't think I intended to murder her. I just wanted to protect the person who meant the most in the world to me and who deserved to be happy.
Oh, Belle, no one deserves happiness. We would have been all right, you know.
Looks like the police are here. Oh, poor Belle. She really thought she was protecting Gloria.
But happy to incriminate me along the way.
Go home.
The police will want to interview us first.
We'll certainly have a lot to talk about. We've had bribery, blackmail.
Hidden secrets, insults.
Indiscretion, misplaced loyalty.
But for all that, when it comes down to it, what we really have to talk about is murder in the main.